I'm sure many of you are aware that the seven deadly sins originated from the Bible. What you may not know, however, is that it doesn't actually list the seven deadly sins anywhere in the Bible. In fact, based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever other than my unparalleled intuition, I'd wager that some 15th century biblical scholar in France, not Britain, derived a list of the seven primary most deadly sins in order to help everyone stay safe and holy out there. But what this scholar seems to have missed is the eighth cardinal sin: obsession. And boy, do I tell you, like a Gen Z lunatic high schooler in their TikTok clout, I've been obsessed. In fact, to cleanse myself and to show how remorseful I am of this heinous act against God and anime, I will now bathe myself in holy water. Now, I may have taken a couple of sips beforehand, but all the better to cleanse the inner layers of the soul. And don't let this Dasani logo fool you. This is 100% purified holy water. And now, in an act of ceremony and repentance for my atrocities, I'm gonna just undo this, plug my nose, lean back, commence the ceremony. Oh, shit. Uh, that was a lot more than I expected. Holy. I'm now cleansed for my atrocities. I'm gonna go change shirts and get a towel. Wait. I really hope that was pretty enough for the camera, because there's no way I'm doing that again. No, I really need to get some new shirts. I really like the same sick shirts on repeat. And of course, something nice and lovely on Sundays to look good for the camera and attract a good Christian wife. Good southern anyway, so now that I'm freshly cleansed from my atrocities, I'm sure you're sitting here ham in hand, wondering what you just witnessed, and more importantly, wondering what this obsession of mine is. And you can kind of see in the back right there, my one ring to rule them all, Berserk. So if you've been a part of the online anime community for any lengthy period of time, I'm sure you've heard of Berserk. But for those of you who haven't, I'll give you a brief description. So Berserk is an epic dark fantasy manga that follows the story of a character named Guts and his journey. It has beautiful writing and art. I think that's pretty much what it's most well known for. Berserk has a pretty classic fantasy story and setting. So if you like fantasy, I would definitely recommend Berserk. It is great. I love it. I will say it definitely earns the parental warning. So if you are on the younger side or are a bit squeamish, I'd recommend staying away from it for at least for a bit, because it is pretty brutal. It has some absolutely gruesome details, but I do think a lot of them are necessary in some capacity and affect the overall piece as a whole. That aside, the art is absolutely incredible. It is a bit dated in the sense that you can kind of tell, especially towards the beginning of the manga, that it kind of came out, that it's like a little older. It's not quite as like stylized as a lot of modern manga and anime, or at least not in the same way, which I personally like more. I feel like there's a lot more detail. Something I really, really love about Berserk is the mix of some of the darker and more graphic elements, such as the fighting and the armor and weapons, as well as the mix of the more whimsical kind of fairy tale lighthearted elements, like fairies and stuff, which really add for some truly beautiful moments that truly touch the soul. I'm almost at the end of Golden Age arc. I believe I'm on like chapter 94 or something like that, which I just got past the eclipse and started volume 14, which you'll know what that is if you've read it. Uh, which I think now would be a good time to say that don't worry, I'm not going to give any significant spoilers. Something I do want to talk about though that might contain some very, very insignificant spoilers. When I Before I started reading this, one of the friends who recommended it to me said that it's like very, very influential. Like you know that scene in Akira where he like, I'm assuming Akira. I haven't seen the movie, but Akira does like the bike slide, and that scene is used in like uh, all the movies that have motorcycles like ever. And so apparently Berserk has a lot of stuff like that too. I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff that I immediately recognized. Some of it might be later, but two of the things I've recognized. One, minor spoiler. I'm not gonna. I'm not. I really don't think it's that significant because it's just visual. The tree with the dead people hanging off of it is used. I I've only seen it used in Hellblade 1 or 2. I'm not sure, and then The Witcher 3. But yeah, that, and then there's something later on that happens. Kind of, I want to say it's around volume like 5 or 6. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's something that happens to one of the two kind of main characters, the like secondary main character that's used in like everything, which you'll know what it is when you read it. Um, but those are the only two things that I've really seen that are like directly used kind of as like tropes in anime and other forms of like media, which I'm also super excited because the Berserk prototype is at the end of this volume, which if you don't know what a prototype is, well, I mean, it's basically like the pilot for like a YouTube pilot video, like an pilot. It's basically like a YouTube pilot animatic where it's like kind of to pitch the idea of the show or whatever, or like in this case the manga, the story. And speaking of the art that I talked about like 9,000 years ago, I have been using Berserk a little bit to study and practice a little bit. Got this right here. I I've kind of I want to because so I've been trying to get better at art, and obviously Berserk has some absolutely incredible art. So I've kind of been using it to practice and like copying it. I've had like some pretty bad art block for the past 3 or 4 months. So like this I started like 3 weeks ago or something, but I haven't finished it still. And I just haven't drawn in a while just because I haven't felt like drawing. But I kind of want to branch out more and like do less because like copying is really good for practice so long as you're not like reselling it and like claiming it as your own and stuff. Um, but I still want to like get to the point where I can better uh draw like from scratch in my head, and maybe I can just use this as like kind of an influence, and kind of try to transform it a bit to help me get better at art, which I would like at some point in the future to make a video about uh Berserk fan art, which because I'm gonna be when my art block goes away and I can force myself to draw again and actually enjoy it, I'm gonna be drawing a crap ton of Berserk stuff. And so hopefully that'll be in a video here in like a year or something. I don't know. And also if you want to see more of my art stuff when I don't have art block, you can check out my Instagram. While I'm making this video, I thought I'd go ahead and talk about the Berserk anime. So there have been multiple Berserk anime releases, all of which have been considered less than great. So the three that I know of, there was one and I haven't seen any of them. I know a little bit about each one of them though. So the first one came out in 1997, and it's I want to say it's probably the most well known Berserk anime, and it from what I can from what I can tell based on like audience reception or whatever, it seems like it's pretty good. It's just that it leaves out a lot, which is unfortunate, and it also ends at like a really pivotal time, just on a cliffhanger, and just that's the end of the show. Tough luck. I'm gonna probably watch it at some point, and I might make a video about that. But it seems like it's good. It just leaves out so much. Like there are upwards of like 5 or 6 characters that it leaves out. One of which, like in the actual manga, takes up a span of like 2 or 3 volumes, and they just like leave it out. And then there's also the Golden Age arc movies. I don't know as much about those, but I'm assuming they're not super well received. The animation looks good. I haven't actually seen much on that. Probably look more into that in the future, but obviously it's like known in the Berserk community kind of that like there hasn't been a good Berserk anime adaptation. And so I'm assuming that it's not good, probably leaves out a bunch of stuff or something like that. And then there's the 2016 anime, which I'm not entirely sure, but I think it starts like pretty far into the story instead of starting at the beginning, and the animation is terrible. It looks really bad. It's like CGI, and it's like really poorly done. But yeah, so it's one of those pieces of media that has been cursed not to get a good adaptation on the big screen. And so many people, myself, someone included, were a bit skeptical when they when actually I say that. I think most people just like didn't care when this Berserk trailer came out, which I'll leave a link probably to their this studio's Twitter and the trailer in the description. But this trailer came out by Studio Eclipse, which is an online animation group, and they're adapting Attack on Titan No Requiem and Berserk. And so if you know anything about Attack on Titan No Requiem or Attack on Titan Requiem, you'll know that a lot of people really, really hate it. On the off chance that any significant number of people see this, I do not condone or endorse any harassment or hate towards these individuals, anyone at Attack on Titan No Requiem or Studio Eclipse or anything like that, because they have gotten a lot of hate, and I think it's really stupid. And honestly, probably if you've been one of the people to like literally send death threats to the people creating Attack on Titan No Requiem and stuff like that, you probably don't deserve Attack on Titan, if I'm being honest. So initially, when I saw this and saw that they were creating Attack on Titan Requiem, I was a little bit skeptical because I was like, because the way a lot of people make it out to be in the Attack on Titan community, Attack on Titan Requiem is just like this horrible affront to God, and it's like super like disrespectful of the creator and stuff. I don't know, the people in the Attack on Titan community just make it seem like really, really bad. And so I actually looked into it, and I went to their website. I saw somewhere that the reason people in the Attack on Titan community mainly hated this so much was basically because they were trying to quote unquote fix Attack on Titan. And while that is to some degree true, if you go to the end of part 1 of Attack on Titan Requiem, which, don't worry, I'm not going to do spoilers for this either, and also, I'll probably, here in a few months or whatever, when Attack on Titan Requiem is actually, like, done, I'll probably make a video on it, kind of critique it a little bit and stuff, because, like, at the end of the day, I really think it's just bad writing. I think it's made with good heart and honestly good respect to Hajime Isayama, the creator of Attack on Titan. I don't think it has any ill intent behind it or is necessarily like disrespectful. Although if you scroll here, the creator of Attack on Titan No Requiem says project initially began because he was wounded, angry, betrayed. Then he saw how his nephew looked terribly disappointed by the ending, and the motivation morphed into making an ending that he would be excited to read back on and enjoy. So that's, I think, kind of where the idea that they're trying to fix Attack on Titan came from. And I don't really agree with that. Like, the thing is, I think it's kind of like, if the whole reason you're making this project is so it can be like more enjoyable, then I think you're kind of missing the point of Attack on Titan. Like, people, just like art in history and even in some capacity today, people create art and like things like anime to portray a message because a lot of people like, it's a great way to get to an audience with a message, because a lot of people just want to sit down and just consume something, you know? And so it's a great way to send a message to people about, like, yeah, just send a message to them, let them know they're, no. Anyway, like, it's a great way to, like, send a meaningful message to people and hopefully, like, impact some people's lives, for the better, you know? And it's like, Attack on Titan is, in a way, I feel like meant to show some of the badness in the world, in a way. And it's not meant to make you comfortable. If you want to be comfortable, go watch like Bocchi the Rock or something. That's not for Attack on Titan. At the end of the day, though, it's not there's no ill intent behind it, and I think it's just mainly just bad writing. But yeah, I forgot. I kind of got busy talking a little too much there. And I forgot to mention, th- I was initially a little bit skeptical about Studio Eclipse being the ones to create this adaptation of Berserk, because if they could, if if they're willing to adapt something that's so like disrespectful to Hajime Sayama, the creator of Attack on Titan, then what would they be willing to do to change? What would they be willing to change about Berserk or whatever? And I don't, having looked a little bit more into Attack on Titan no Requiem, I don't really have that opinion anymore, because like that was kind of based on no evidence. It is a little concerning still because, frankly, to put it bluntly, no no hate towards the people working on Attack on Titan no Requiem at all. I think they've put a lot of work into Attack on Titan no Requiem, and I think it's like they've done a lot, and I think it deserves to be respected. But it is unfortunately bad writing, to be honest, and it's just that doesn't necessarily bode well for the people at this fan animation group. I guess it's a fan animation group. I don't know. But yeah, I still think there's a lot of good potential for this to be a good anime adaptation. The animation looks really good. What I heard of the voice acting seems like in the trailer, like if you watch the trailer, the animation looks absolutely fantastic. What I remember from the voice acting seemed fine. Hopefully it is good. I don't really know how they're going to release it because it is a fan creation, and I'm pretty sure legally how it works with like fan creations is of IPs or whatever, you can't make money directly off of it. I think so. Like you can't paywall it. But like I think you can have a Patreon, so long as you don't like paywall it or paywall the show or whatever, unless you're like contracted with like the Berserk team or whatever, like the actual people behind Berserk originally, like the manga. Like I really have to wonder how that works, and like if oh yeah, the other thing also, I think it needs to be like transformative, and I'm not 100% sure if animating it and voice acting it counts as transformative enough to allow it to be like legal or whatever. I think probably it does, but I have to wonder how they're going to release it and all that stuff. It seems kind of like they're going to release it on YouTube, but that just feels pretty like iffy, especially like with the legality and stuff, because that's like all of Berserk on YouTube. Like that would just be strange. But anyway, hopefully this is good. I feel like it could either be, good, or it could be a complete like crap fest. Uh but hopefully that looks good, or hopefully that goes well. One last little tidbit I'll leave you with. If you really like Attack on Titan, I would recommend, I don't know if this is going to reach anyone significant who it could help, but if you're really into Attack on Titan, I would definitely recommend, after you finish Attack on Titan, go watch or read Vinland Saga, and then after that, start reading Berserk. That is my like opinion for like the flow, because a lot of people in like the Attack on Titan community or whatever, it's like, I watched Attack on Titan, now I can't enjoy anything else, I can't enjoy any other anime. uh and so if you're one of those people or not, and you just really like Attack on Titan, those that kind of media and like those themes and like kind of level of darkness or whatever, definitely I think Vinland Saga is good to go to after that, and then after that Berserk. Or honestly, you could probably do Berserk before Vinland Saga, but it's a pretty good stuff to get into after, after Attack on Titan or whatever. Anyway, that's about it. Consider liking, subscribing, and socials in description maybe. And I'll probably hopefully be doing some more videos soon. I've started watching what did I start watching? I started watching Cowboy Bebop, so I'll probably make a video about that soon, reviewing it. And also, hopefully, I'll make some more some videos on like Berserk and Attack on Titan Requiem and stuff like that. I got a lot of stuff coming up. Hopefully, maybe. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Johnny, bye bye.